In my opinion, just say no. You can sort out consent later, but if someone asked me to search anything, I would ask for my attorney. But if you consent, it's too late. You can't unring the bell. And you have an absolute constitutional right to remain silent. You have an absolute constitutional right to have a lawyer, and that's in the Constitution, and that trumps every other law. And so our standard advice would be no.
In addition to that, you have a right to be free from unreasonable searches and seizures. If a search occurs without a warrant, it is presumed to be unreasonable, and the burden would then be on the state to prove that the search was lawful. If you consent to a search of a vehicle or a car, you waive that right. In other words, you give up your Fourth Amendment protection to be free from an unreasonable search and seizure. Additionally, as it relates to computers, a lot of times people think that if you give over the computer, you can limit the consent, and that does not happen. So, for instance, we see this come up in what we call the kiddie porn context, where somebody asks if they can look at your computer. They take it and you don't see it for months and months and months, and the next thing you know, you're indicted, and you've waived the right to challenge the search of that computer. So it has been our experience that it's never in your interest to consent. Often police officers will indicate to you that by giving consent, somehow you will put yourself in a better position. However, law enforcement officers cannot promise you anything. The only person that can make a promise that can be enforced is a prosecutor. So if a police officer is saying, give me your computer and we won't charge you, that's a lie. A lot of people don't understand that police officers can lie to try to get consent. So just because an officer says, we're not going to prosecute you, if that's a lie, they can use whatever they get against you. And that's why it's never in your best interest to consent to a search.